But now we will proceed with Sofia's presentation. Sofia Mojica, she's coming from the Autonomous University of Barcelona. She's an institutional project manager, and she's engaged in several different EU-funded projects, including KALEIDOS. And yeah, she will be presenting the work that they've been doing in the context of the project. Go ahead, Sofia. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Oh, wait. Yeah. So I will present the work that we did at the beginning of the KALEIDOS project, which was the development of the open science profiles, both for researchers and research managers. The goal of this task was actually to be able to involve the stakeholders collaborating with researchers and research managers in the identification of the relevant skills to promote knowledge valorization with an open science approach. So to achieve this, we developed a methodology to gather the perspective both from the researchers and research managers themselves, but also the quadruple helix actors on these needed skills. And for this, we considered as a reference point the researchers and the research managers' skills coming from the frameworks that Maria presented before, and then we could analyze the results. So here you have the specific methodology that we carried out. So first of all, we defined key concepts such as researchers, research managers, open science, and knowledge valorization. And then we pre-selected relevant skills from the research comp before the leveraging AI competence was added. And also the draft version of the research managers comp that was available in April 2024. Then we considered also the specificities of the different stakeholders who were targets of the survey, which were the public administration, the industry, the civil society, the researchers, the research managers, and also upper management from the ecosystems of the universities involved in the KALEIDOS project, which are the Autonomous University of Barcelona, Karlstad University, the University of Bologna, and the University of Lorraine, to be able to co-create the survey with the consortium partners, and then to disseminate it among our ecosystems. And then as a result of this effort, we managed to get 103 responses from the different countries, and we could analyze these results, which gave us really insightful information, because we saw that the respondents considered that not only research comp and research managers comp skills were relevant to promote knowledge valorization, integrating open science practices. They also proposed as relevant skills some of the ones present in the competence frameworks developed also by the European Commission, such as Life Comp, Green Comp, and Dish Comp. And as a last step towards this definition of the open science skills profiles, we also carried out a short survey with an advisory board member of the project to validate these results. So here I wanted to just quickly show you the key concepts that we really agreed on during the development of these open science profiles. And I would like to highlight the definition that we used for open science, as it covers part of the official definition of UNESCO. For KALEIDOS, this has been important to promote open science as a collaborative, inclusive, transdisciplinary, and intersectoral and impactful way of doing science with a systemic vision. Therefore, we grouped the skills and competences related to open science in 3 different blocks: systemic vision, collaboration, and impact. For the other concepts, we mainly used the European Commission definition. And then also for research managers was also important to highlight that we wanted to focus on the research managers who contributed to establishing vision and goals, building and implementing research plans, and managing the execution of the corresponding activities. And also the professionals who had a strong connection between research managers and research leadership, management, and operations. Then, so here you have the researcher skills that that we identified as relevant during the analysis of the results, and we have also worked on a more visual way of visualizing this specific skill. So here you have the skills that are identified as relevant related to systemic vision for researchers. As you can see, there are skills identified in research comp, but also in life comp, green comp, and dish comp, and also other skills or competences that stakeholders added as relevant that we were not able to relate to any existing current existing framework. One of them is, as you can see in the pink section, is decision making, which is a skill that is not present in research comp right now, but is present in the research managers competence framework. Then we have the collaboration related skills for researchers. And I would like to highlight here two relevant skills coming from LifeComp, which are empathy and flexibility. And we have the impact ones. And here you can see mainly in skills related to research comp that there are many ways of having impact being a researcher, including having impact on policy and society, but also, for example, then in communication with the broad public. Then we also analyzed and identified the key skills for researchers, but also the ones that were considered to be best acquired by researchers and the ones that maybe have had to be improved or could be improved by researchers. And the ones that could be improved for researchers in this case are strategic thinking, systemic thinking, conduct interdisciplinary research, promote inclusion and diversity, communication to the broad public, and increase impact of science on policy and society. Now that researchers have available the self-assessment tool that Maria presented, it will be much easier for them to really identify their strengths and weaknesses and work towards the ones that they are interested in. Then we come to the research managers skills that we identified as relevant, and I will just go to the next slide to focus on the systemic vision ones that we identified. As you can see, again, empathy is highlighted as important again, and there is also a skill that wasn't related to any current framework, which was the possibility to be open to discussion and to receive feedback as well, which was added by some stakeholders. And then related to collaboration, we see that most of the relevant skills identified by stakeholders come from the research managers comp, emphasizing on the relationship with different stakeholders. And related to impact, you can also see that the digital technologies are seen as relevant, but also managing learning and sustainability related skills, in addition to the ones of the research managers camp that are also identified as relevant. Here you have again the same analysis for research managers, and I would like to highlight again the skills that are that could be improved for research managers according to the perspective of the stakeholders, which are cultural sensibility, strategic planning, managing equality, diversity, and inclusion, and lastly, monitoring and evaluation frameworks. As Maria mentioned again, there is a multiple choice questionnaire as well, so that research managers can also identify their strengths and weaknesses to be able to really establish a plan to improve the ones that they consider most relevant for their work. And then, and then here, I also wanted to show you our last analysis that we did with all the results that we had, which was looking at the interplay between the researcher's skills and the research manager's skills, and we identified some shared skills, which are the ones that you see in the middle. So for systemic vision, we have common skills, creativity, critical thinking, decision-making, and managing learning. And related to collaboration, we have flexibility and empathy. You can also see that most of the skills from the researchers and research managers are complementary to each other. We try to visualize this with the arrows that you see. And therefore, as you will see in the next slide, it's important to take into account the complementarities that both profiles have. Then, just lastly, as conclusions from this work, just first of all, the quadruple helix stakeholder survey expanded the relevant skills for researchers and research managers, bringing to light the value of other competences related to digital, sustainable, and interconnected collaborations. Then secondly, stakeholders also highlighted as relevant competences for researchers that are applicable to all, such as empathy and flexibility. And also there was an emphasis as well on the strategic vision related competences that will be very important for researchers so that they can really see how the research outputs can have an impact on society. And then related to research managers, we see that they can catalyze community engagement and open science by building relevant relationships with stakeholders, and therefore efforts to professionalize and recognize the careers of research managers need to continue. And then as a last conclusion, to maximize impact, it's very important to focus on the joint work of researchers and research managers. Just to finish, I didn't put the QR code to the deliverable in the note that we have explaining all this work, but maybe Mireia or Ada, you can add I don't know if you can add the link to the chat, maybe, so that everyone can have access to it and can have more details about all this work that we did and all the open science profiles that we proposed.
Thank you very much, Sofia. Thank you for your presentation. I think it was really, really inspiring, the work that you've done, and the updates and the complementary information that you have generated in the context of KALEIDOS for the research com and the RM com.